good news if you're a Ghanaian, good news if you're a fan of the Black Stars, because Semenyo has completed his move to Manchester City and he joined City for an amount of £64 million. We are going to have a conversation, of course, an interesting conversation about Antoine Semenyo's move to Manchester City. I'll be giving you my take on Semenyo joining City, and also I'll be looking at the possibility of Semenyo getting into the City starting 11, and if he's going to really fit in at Manchester City. Ghana's interest, we'll be looking at that one as well. And in wrapping up, some surprises. Is there any doom that await Antoine Semenyo at Manchester City? I delve into action without wasting time. And of course, for Antoine Semenyo joining Manchester City, I know Ghanaians have concerns and they are not too sure about his move to Manchester City. And definitely, I will agree with any Ghanaian if you have that fear, if you have that um, intimidation about Semenyo's move to Manchester City. And that reminds me of Michael Essien joining Chelsea way back in 2005. Ghanaians were happy that Essien was joining Chelsea Football Club. But on the flip side, they were not too sure about Essien's move to Chelsea Football Club because of that creme de la creme Chelsea midfield, that competition you are going to face. Is he going to get regular playing minutes? And it's kind of similar to Semenyo's move to Manchester City, because these are some of the concerns Ghanaians have raised. On the other side, asking a lot of interesting questions. The kind of minutes Semenyo enjoyed at Bournemouth, is he going to get that at Manchester City? Is he going to get regular playing minutes? How is he going to fit into Pep Guardiola's starting 11? A lot of interesting questions. And of course, it's good that they have to really share that concern, have that worry over Semenyo's move to Manchester City. But if you are to push me against the wall, what I would say is a good move for Antoine Semenyo, because every footballer's dream is to get that elevation, to have that growth as a footballer, play for a big club, because it comes with a lot of advantages. You are close to winning a trophy, you are close to having your name always in the spotlight, and also that rivalry, the backs is also important. The money bit is also important. So it is a dream of every footballer to play for a big club. And for you to play for Manchester City is so huge, is so massive. So I will first of all congratulate Antoine Semenyo for completing his move to Manchester City. And also on behalf of Saban Media Sports Extra, we are going to wish, or we are wishing Antoine Semenyo the very best of luck at Manchester City. Is he going to fit in at Manchester City? Of course. In answering this question, what I would say is we all know Pep Guardiola and we all know his brand of football, how he started at Barcelona, and the kind of football Pep Guardiola really came out with, that tiki-taka football, that passing football. But Pep has evolved. That is what you have to know. He has evolved into a different coach, having that blend of playing fancy football, playing beautiful football, and sometimes having the tendency of also playing that football full of compactivity and trying to play three back, having one of your center backs play as a hybrid, half midfielder, half center back, using the likes of Ellen Brotaland, who is not really that efficient on the ball, but will make sure you get the goals. Pep has evolved. If you had to ask me 8 years ago, 5 years ago, will Pep Guardiola have Ellen Brotaland in the starting 11 as his target man, as his number 9? Not really convinced about that. Not too sure Pep will do that. So he has evolved. He has evolved as a coach, and this time round, Pep is now open to using players who are very direct, who have the pace, who can shoot and put the ball at the back of the net. So I think Semenyo has a chance at Manchester City, and he's going to really fit in at Manchester City because Pep Guardiola as a coach, his philosophy has evolved tactically. He has evolved as a manager. So, looking at the skill set of Antoine Semenyo, you might say he's not the typical Pep Guardiola player, but I think because of that, Pep Guardiola having the growth and having evolved as a coach, there is that chance of seeing Antoine Semenyo really fitting. And I know he's going to fit in at Manchester City because Pep has really evolved. Pep has changed as a manager. Now, Ghana's interest, very huge, because anytime they mention Antoine Semenyo's name, Ghana is attached. Anytime they mention his name, Ghana is attached. And Semenyo has really done well for him to score 10 goals. Last season he scored 11 goals. Yeah, a goal shy of his record for last season with 10 goals, 3 assists. That is so massive. So, as a Ghanaian, I'm happy, and I know, of course, you are also happy because Ghana is on the map. Ghana is in the spotlight. And we've seen the likes of PCN, the likes of Muntari in the past, Stephen Appiah play for top clubs. And that really had influence on the performance of the Blasters because ACN will come in from Chelsea with that experience. Muntari was doing the same thing. Stephen Appiah was doing the same thing. And that gave Ghana a bit of advantage on the international stage. So anytime we meet the whites, we meet European teams, we play at the World Cup, you see that the disparity is not too huge because we have players who are playing on that big stage in Europe, who play in the UEFA Champions League consistently, play in top level matches. Yeah, at the moment we have only few players doing that, so that will give the Blasters a little bit of edge on the international stage. Now, any surprises, any doom? Is there any doom for Semenyo? Any surprises, any mystery? Well, what I would say is for the doom bit, Charlie, that one we need to really give Semenyo a chance. So I'm not going to really talk too much about the dream. But looking at Pep Guardiola's profile as a coach, he has it. There is that mix of Pep having issues with black players, especially African players. We know the history of Pep and the former African best player, Yaya Toure. Yeah. But on the flip side, we've also seen Pep Guardiola having that good time with some African players. So you cannot use Yaya Toure's case as a benchmark. No. Pep used Seydou Keita, and he had that good rapport, that good relationship with Seydou Keita, who was from Africa, Mali, and other players. You can make a case with Samuel Eto'o as well. But Pep has evolved as a coach, and we've seen him work with other African players, and the story was quite different. We've seen him work with a lot of black players, not necessarily from Africa, and the outcome was positive. The likes of Raheem Sterling, the likes of Ake at Manchester City, the likes of Mamouche. Mamouche was signed by Pep Guardiola, so we need to give Pep that breather. We need to give Antoine Semenyo a chance. So for the doom bit, I'm not too sure about that. And I'll not use Yaya Toure's case as a benchmark and say that he's going to have that poor relationship with Antoine Semenyo, where he will not be using Antoine Semenyo regularly, where he will not have that good relationship with the Ghanaian. I'm not going to use Yaya Toure's case, Samuel Eto'o's case as a benchmark because how many years we've moved on from that situation. And if Pep is really working with the likes of Mamouche, Pep is working with other black players like Doku and the others, of course, I'll give Pep a breather, and I will also give Antoine Semenyo a breather on the doom bit. But Semenyo, he needs to be careful, and he has to have that strong mindset as a player, because he's not going to get regular minutes. That is not guaranteed at Manchester City compared to Bournemouth, where you wake up and you know you'll be part of the starting 11, and you are then sure that you are going to enjoy regular minutes. At Manchester City, you have to fight, you have to compete, you have to justify the reason why you must be part of the starting 11. And that is a challenge, a massive challenge. But even in the past, the likes of Michael Essien were able to do that very well. The likes of Sule Muntari, the likes of Steven Appiah, they rose to the occasion, and they were playing regularly for Chelsea, for Juve, for AC Milan. I think Antoine Semenyo can do the same thing. And of course, I'm not too worried, because I know the work ethic of Antoine Semenyo, that industrious, he's the hardworking type. And I'm not sure he's going to relax at Manchester City. Looking at his transition, looking at his story, about 4 years ago, he was playing for Bristol City ahead of the 2022 FIFA World Cup. He was playing for Bristol City. Fast forward some 4 years down the lane, or yeah, some 4 years or some 3 years down the lane, and Semenyo is going to play for Manchester City. For you to have that growth, for you to have that elevation, it really takes a lot. Of course, if you are not hardworking, you are not going to have that growth. You are not going to have that fast transition if you are not a hardworking type. So, looking at the work ethic of Antoine Semenyo and looking at how positive he is as a player, I think that Semenyo is not going to relax at Manchester City. And also looking at his profile compared to other wingers or forwards at Manchester City, I think he stands out clearly when it comes to his ability to use the right foot and his ability to use the left foot, how he's direct and his overall play, tracking back, helping the midfield, trying to make sure that there is that balance in midfield, dropping to help the defense. He's quite different from other wingers at Manchester City who sometimes put premium on only attacking, and that is an advantage for Antoine Semenyo. So, in wrapping up, I would say for sure that there are concerns. Ghanaians have concerns over this move. Some are not too sure. Some are not really convinced that it is going to get the best out of Antoine Semenyo. But I know you can be a squad player, but you can still contribute to the success of the team. Strategically, you can be used. The likes of Seydou Keita, they we've seen players in the past who were not really a mainstay in the starting 11, contributing their quota to the success of the team. And at Manchester City, the squad is huge, full of potential. So for Ghanaians to have concerns, I will not begrudge them. But let's give Antoine Semenyo a breather. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and look at how positive he is as a player, how hardworking he is as a player. And looking at that bit, I can only say for sure that Antoine Semenyo is going to give out his best for Manchester City and Pep Guardiola. So we can only sit here and wish Antoine Semenyo the very best of luck. And that is about it on Semenyo joining Manchester City for 64 million pounds. Yeah, the last time it was Thomas Day party, party after party, party after party, party after party, and Semenyo is now in the spotlight. He has literally taken over from what happened to Thomas Day Partey some 5 seasons ago, where Partey was in the spotlight after joining Arsenal from Atletico Madrid. Do want to subscribe to 7 Media Sports Extra on YouTube for the best of sporting content. Have a wonderful day.